Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Zenith El Primero Captain Winsor Annual Calendar Boutique Edition. 42 millimeters in stainless steel. You can see this unique palladium dial boutique edition and buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now, the boutique edition is something really special. Not just the classic movement, and the El Primero is the icon of Zenith, but this is something approaching a design opus that has a chance to become one of the great faces of the El Primero, a movement often in search of an iconic dial and case combination, and I feel that in this Fume dial smoked palladium boutique edition, Zenith has found one of those classics, like the A386 of 1969, the Chronomasters of the mid-90s, and the great Rainbow Flyback Pilot's Chronograph of the millennial era. I think this is going to enter the canon and the pantheon. You can see on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, 6.3 inches. The watch has a good modern stance with accents that recall the 1952 origin of the Captain name within the Zenith company tradition. Now, 50 millimeters from lug to lug. The watch is fairly easy to wear on a smaller wrist. I think you could wear it comfortably on a wrist as small as about 14 and a half centimeters. Now, it is a little bit chunky, 14 millimeters thick, but it has a cupped case back, so you can see how when buckled it nestles into the skin, reducing the stack height, and then it does have a dramatically sloped combination of bezel and crystal. It will fit under most dress cuffs and sleeves. You can also see a beautiful monotone stitched, lightly bolstered alligator leather strap with one of Zenith's modern signatures, the rubberized underside, for resistance to moisture, to sweat, to grime, and long-wearing durability. Now, this is a traditionally styled watch, and so although it does have a twin trigger actuated double deployant clasp, excellent ergonomics for smaller wrist rather than the big up and over fold of a single deployant. The nice thing about this one is that in addition to the security of a deployant, and one with twin triggers at that, the watch has a pin buckle sort of optical illusion effect such that when buckled it looks like a traditional pin buckle while affording you the security of a deployant. Now, the dial is the highlight here. No two ways about it. This edition features what's known as fume, or smoke, a gradient effect on the palladium precious metal dial base that gives the watch tremendous dynamism. You can see just turning it in my light box, it fades almost to a slate gray, and then it explodes to something resembling a combination of golden bronze and silver. Very dramatic. This is something special and something that really has to be experienced in the flesh, or I should say, in the palladium. Now, all the accents of the case are definitely worthy of the dial within. You can see the lugs are strong. They're sharply downturned to fit on a smaller wrist, but nevertheless they have great character, body, and definition to them. There's a nice bevel that gives it a sharp crease line, and you can see the intersection of the lug itself and the bezel has a little bit of a step to it for an additional visual nuance, a little kink in the belt line that disrupts the horizontal character. It's the kind of thing that adds richness to the overall design effort, and rich is the way to describe this dial. Now, it's framed by a beautiful chapter ring that's actually brushed metal. It's a sector style, and it has a luminescence in the light that's just a little bit different than the fume effect of the dial. All of the Arabic numerals are beautifully polished, and I get a very upscale vibe from this watch. Palladium is a hallmarked precious metal, so you're getting something that's very special in every sense. And to emphasize it, Zenith designed this bezel to be quite minimal. You can see the ratio of dial to bezel here is very high. So the watch reads larger than its nominal 42 millimeters. The bezel looks just like a little bit of a silver halo around that fume center. Now, the annual calendar is the highlight here. Beautifully integrated. It's actually designed by a legend in his own right, Ludwig Oxlin, the father of Ulysse Nardin's Trilogy of Time series, the GMT plus minus, the great perpetual calendar mechanism that can be set forward and backward, as well as the godfather of the freak. This is a man who needs no introduction and actually cut his teeth in watchmaking as a clock restorer for the Vatican, so he knows a thing or two about celestial and calendar complications. So while this caliber 4054 features 29 jewels and 341 individual parts, only 9 of them are associated with the annual calendar mechanism that Oxlin designed for Zenith. That's a complex system executed with simplicity, a contradiction that is his trademark. Now, when you start up the basic movement beneath it, the El Primero chronograph, you see that traditional 10 beat per second smooth sweep of the chronograph seconds hand. Here, a beautiful heat-blued lancet with matching 60-minute hand just below. The sweep is smoother, more progressive, almost seamless, along the lines of something like a Psycho spring drive, not like the chug-a-chug of a vintage chronograph. And the 36,000 vibration per hour El Primero is blazing on the caseback in all of its glory. You can see the unique standards of finishing, you can see the depth, and I love that you can easily see, thanks to the lateral clutch system, the engagement of the chronograph. You can see the pirouette of the chronograph drivetrain about its pivots, and it all leads to the column wheel. Now, the column wheel is the traditional switching mechanism for high-quality chronographs. It's not cheap to make. It's not easy to tune. It is the harder way to make a chronograph. Cams are much easier. But for a company like Zenith, the quintessential manufacturer, it's the only way to go. And as you cycle the chronograph function, you can see the levers interacting with the column wheel. You can see the chronograph drivetrain, when I disengage, continues to move while the chronograph system itself is disengaged. Now, re-engaging, the lateral clutch engages with the chronograph driver wheel, and the intermediate wheel continues driving the chronograph seconds hand at center, as well as the minutes hand beneath. This is a traditional chronograph mechanism, and what I love about a lateral clutch, well, you can't run the chronograph full-time. I wouldn't leave it for more than 12 hours. After all, it's not a vertical clutch, but you can see the mechanism in a way you can't with a vertical clutch. And this watch is about the visual impact, front and back. 52-hour power reserve, the classical El Primero, serving a brilliant complication by Ludwig Oxlin in a design that's destined to become a Zenith classic. See it on our website, watchyouwant.com.